China. To date, China has delayed providing debt treatments to borrowers in debt distress, or has provided treatments that fall short of restoring the borrower's debt sustainability. We need to redouble our efforts to resolve ongoing cases like Zambia and Sri Lanka.
Millions of Americans could finally be receiving an even bigger monthly and even larger monthly benefit payment very soon. Top Democrats and Republicans are working together to help more Social Security beneficiaries and senior citizens financially during the crisis. I know many of you are wondering how you can boost your monthly Social Security benefit payments. Social Security retirement benefits have kept millions of seniors out of poverty. But while retirement benefits are well known and much anticipated, they are not the only kind of payments older Americans could be eligible for. It's best to understand all the different kinds of checks that you could potentially receive from the Social Security Administration, so that you don't leave money on the table. Social Security retirement benefits are earned benefits. The amount you receive is based on your work history, with benefits calculated based on average wages during the 35 years when you made the most money over the course of your career. Your benefit amount is also based on your age and when you first filed claim benefits. You can start as soon as 62, but must wait until your designated full retirement age to receive your full standard benefit. You also have the option to wait to start benefits beyond your retirement age to earn delayed retirement credits that increase retirement income. Retirement benefits are intended to replace about 40% of pre-retirement income, so they are not enough to live on by themselves, but can be a big help in covering your costs once you're no longer getting a paycheck. There are definitely steps you can take to enhance the amount of your retirement benefits. According to Social Security, experts say claiming early at age 62 will result in the permanent reduction of your Social Security check by up to 30%. Waiting until age 70, however, has the opposite effect. For every year that you delay claiming past full retirement age, your monthly benefits will get an 8% bonus. That amounts to a whopping 24% if you wait until age 70. Even if you never worked before, you may be eligible for spousal Social Security benefits. That amounts to a whopping 24% if you wait to file until age 70. Now, even if you never worked before, you may be eligible for spousal Social Security benefits, and these can reach as much as 50% of your spouse's,
and be prepared to work together on future cases. The immediate issues I've highlighted call for urgent action. At the same time, we must not lose sight of the big picture, longer-run challenges, particularly in developing countries. And the remainder of my remarks will focus on these challenges, what they mean for developing countries, and how to address them. The last several decades have seen substantial alleviation of world poverty, but recent crises are eroding those gains. At least 75 million additional people are facing extreme poverty this year.
benefit if you want to file until full retirement age. Even if you're divorced, you may be entitled to spousal benefits if you were originally married for at least 10 years. Depending on your work history, it's very possible that you are entitled to a spousal benefit bonus that amounts to more than your own Social Security payout. Every year, the Social Security Administration reviews benefit payouts and adjusts them upwards based on the current rate of inflation. In some years, like 2010 and 2016, the COLA was 0%, as inflation was essentially non-existent. But in January 2022, Social Security recipients received a big bonus in the form of a 5.8% COLA. Social Security beneficiaries could see another record cost of living adjustment in 2023. To calculate the COLA each year, the SSA compares Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers from the third quarter to the third quarter of the prior year. If inflation subsides, there is the possibility of a lower adjustment or even no increase for next year or in 2024. Much of that will depend on how fast the Federal Reserve's efforts to tamp down inflation by rising interest rates take effect. One possibility is inflation becoming deflation when prices start going down. And according to Senior Citizens League, that points to a cost of living adjustment of 8.6%.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
So I get the fact that it's, you're probably going to say, well, it doesn't increase shareholder value by doing a split, but you do open it up to a different class or a larger class of investors, do you not?
Absolutely. So let's confess that there's no additional value to shareholders. It doesn't change the market cap, but it does introduce it to retail investors. And I'm a sucker for a good old-fashioned stock split. I mean, I love it. When I was a kid, Scott, I was fascinated by setting goals and savings, and my grandmother would take me to the bank with our little passbook savings and put in every deposit and the interest, which was great because it was free money, but you'd set a goal, $20, $30, $40. Then when I went to college, I tried to do that with direct investing, having a dividend reinvestment plan, send in $15, $20, $30 for the goal of trying to access a round lot of something. And I think the same thing holds true when you see a 20-for-1 stock split with Amazon or Alphabet. It makes it accessible to shareholders for sure, but it also introduces people to the value of savings and investing as opposed to trading.
Not only that, I mean, for somebody like you who makes options a considerable part of your strategy, it kind of changes the game, too, in terms of accessibility for those kinds of trades.
Institutionally wise, there's no question. I mean, for an option contract, we generally need a 100-share round lot. So at $250,000 for 100 shares of Amazon, it cut a lot of people out of the option market, whether it was to write a covered call or to introduce a protective put. So the beauty of this 20-for-1 stock split says that now a 100-share position.
The country's largest retailer, Walmart, invites thousands of its top-performing employees down to Arkansas for its big shareholder and Associates Week. Our Courtney Reagan joins us, and she's enjoying, I would assume. Well, yeah, look, it's rocking there, Courtney.
Hi, David. Yes, you're right. It has been 3 years since Walmart welcomed associates from around the world. There's 14,000 of them here at the Bud Walton Arena. Behind me, John Baptiste is performing right now. James Corden is the musical guest. And while all of the events of the week are called shareholders, it really is more of a celebration for the associates and the work that they've done over the year. This week, the retailer did announce an expansion to its academy training programs and the addition of 4 new, more automated fulfillment centers, which will add 4,000 supply chain jobs. And as the country's largest private employer with more than 1.6 million associates, Walmart has added a number of benefits, from free college tuition programs to job training, as well as expanded healthcare benefits for its employees. But really, it's the pay that's the most critical for those entry-level associates. To start, Walmart hourly workers make $12 an hour. The company does say that on average, it takes about 7 months to move up in role and in pay. This week, CEO Doug McMillon said the average hourly wage for store associates is more than $17 an hour. And while both have
Mr. Kaufman, thank you for your testimony. Antonia, thank you for being here. I could barely see your lips move as he spoke. But thank you. In the military, I spent a few years of my life, a lot of years of my life in the Navy, and we always used to say that the spouse of the member in uniform, the spouse of that person, serves our country as well. So we thank you for your service and for sharing with us your husband. And if your daughters, is it Gabrielle and is it Genevieve and is it Olivia, if they're watching, thanks for sharing your dad. Now we're ready to ask questions of our witness. Senator Capito and I have agreed to 2 5-minute rounds of questions with additional rounds at the question and discretion of the chair. To begin with this, as Mr. Kaufman would recall, this committee has 3 standing yes or no questions that we ask of all nominees who appear before us. So I'd like to ask you these questions. Question: do you agree, if confirmed, to appear before you leave? Let me just ask a question of Senator Bozeman. Senator Bozeman, before you leave, a question of you. Was there recently a primary held in your state in Alabama? And I understand, as of about 10:05 last night, there was some good news. What was reporting? You won your primary. So congratulations. We're happy for you and for your state. Thank you. Senator Inhofe, one.
Without urgent and concerted action, the world is unlikely to meet the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Long-standing problems are the cause of persistent poverty and inequality. Those problems include lack of access to education and health care, and basic infrastructure like clean water, electricity, roads, and broadband. ineffective, non-transparent institutions, foster corruption and political oppression. They also limit the rights of women and minorities. And developing countries, along with the rest of the world, are experiencing increasing incidents of extreme weather, driven by climate change, with agriculture especially vulnerable. Addressing these contributors to poverty has always been central to development policy. But this agenda is particularly important in unlocking key trends that are shaping the future of the developing world. Let me touch on two examples.